Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Monday, August 28th. I'm Michael Taylor. Welcome to the program. We've got a fun one for you today. Bobby Higgins is going to be in just a minute. She's going to be talking to Providence Mission Hospital. Their trauma surgeon there, Dr. Takeuchi, he's going to be talking about traumas of falling, how to prevent them and what happens when we do, and prevention, just making sure we're all going to be safe. So it's an important one to pay attention to. And I'll be back a little later in the program with the Shalom Club. Paula Kruger and Cindy Hauscher, they're going to be talking to us about a great event they have coming up. Speaking of things you want to be careful, watch out for, hey, who wants junk mail? I don't, you don't, so let's go paperless. It's a great option for us. You can opt out of your mail that comes here. If you're looking for ways to reduce clutter, save paper costs, here's a great opportunity. Save on the mutual mailings. You can email your delivery preferences to information@vmsinc.org by Friday, September 9th. That'll help you opt out, go paperless. It saves about $7.50 per mailing. That's the postage, the printing, the envelopes, and all that kind of stuff. And if everybody did it around here, about 12,000 households, they'd save $90,000 a year. So be part of that solution. Get rid of that clutter and go paperless on that. Let's take a look outside at our weather. It is going to be warm, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. High pressure system kind of moved in yesterday from the east, locked in over Arizona, and it's bringing us all sorts of heat. 93 today, 91. Then the high pressure system starts to move back towards the east, and we're going to get a little more coastal influence. And by the weekend, we're actually going to be a little bit below normal, which is going to be great. But we got to get through these next few days of air conditioning and staying indoors and getting away from that heat. So we'll do that for sure. Let's take a look at the sunrise and sunset. Our sunrise this morning was 6:22. Sunset tonight's going to be 7:21. And Alan Clark sent us this picture. He's a photog extraordinaire. He's a shutterbug. He sends us pictures all the time. This is a great one of that little butterfly on that purple plant. I don't know what that is. It's a nice flower. I'm sure everybody else knows what the name of that one is, but I don't. All right, so if you want to send us your pictures, and I'll try to figure out what's in them, send them to Laguna Woods Village TV at gmail.com. Make sure you have your name on there. Make sure you tell us where you took the photo, and take it horizontally, as you can see there in the right lower portion of the screen. Take it from that angle. That way it'll fit better on our screen. Okay, we got a meeting to tell you about, and then when we come back, Providence Mission Hospital.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to join us today here on This Day. Welcome, and thank you for joining us, Dr. Takeuchi, trauma surgeon and chief of the Trauma Center at Providence Mission Hospital. And I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day today to join us here on This Day. And basically, today we're going to talk about trauma, falls, and prevention, because this past year, almost half of all the traumas, 49% this past year at Mission Hospital, was attributed from falls in the age group 65 years and older, correct?
Yes, thanks for having me. Absolutely. Normally, we usually have about half of our patients because of the mechanism of fall. Obviously, different mechanisms, different types of fall, but overall, about half of our patients in the last 10 years, I would say somewhere between 42 to 52% of our patients are falls.
Okay, yeah. And so when a patient comes in for a trauma fall, how is a trauma patient different from that of just a patient?
Yeah, trauma falls in the category of what we call them time-sensitive patients. They might have injuries that if we diagnose them early in the process, we actually can treat them more successfully and have better results. Like I can give you other examples of these kind of patients are stroke patients or heart attack patients that the earlier in the stage you find them, you can actually treat them better. Trauma is one of those. And that's why trauma centers have a pathway of assessing and evaluating these patients immediately after arrival to not waste any time.
Yeah, and definitely time can be, especially like in a stroke, time is extremely important. Um, the category of falls in in your trauma center, it's been the largest percentage of patients. So is this becoming more of a problem than it has been in the past?
So it's been even at the national level has had an increasing pace in the last decade, and our hospital is not an exception. In general, as you mentioned, half of our patients are falls. Last year, we had close to 2,000 patients come into our hospital with this mechanism, so we can see it's very significant.
Yeah, and is there any specific connection made in the falls that you're seeing?
Yeah, so out of these this big number of patients, about 80% of them, 79% to be exact, are the age group of 65 and older. And that's why we contributed to age, because obviously as you old, our physiology, as you get old, the physiology of the body changes towards making us more prone to fall.
And what type of injuries are most common in this age group from the falls?
So the more common ones are basically fractures, hips, pelvis, wrists, and ankles. And also the more important ones are head injuries. They can be varied from a minor head injury like a concussion to an unfortunate, I would say, devastating brain injury, which can end up in person's death.
Yeah. Yeah, and internal bleeding and clots. I mean, I know my mom went to Mission Hospital for an injury. She had fell and hit her head, and it just seemed like the type of cut that you would just stitch up, needed a few
Correct.
stitches. But then she actually got sent home, and then they called a few hours later and said, "Oh no, you need to come in right away." We didn't notice on her scans that there was internal bleeding, and so we ended up hustling her back, to the hospital. So uh, definitely something that I learned with that experience, like, oh, don't risk it. You need to go into the hospital. You
Correct.
need to have it checked. So, what would you say, where are the most common falls? Where are they happening for this age group?
Yeah, I mean, our at least based on our statistics, the most common place are people's homes. And probably in the house, the most common place that this happens in bedroom and bathroom. And this is basically, as you can imagine, this is the most, I would say, familiar place in your home. And falling in that familiar place shows that how we should be careful about even furnishing the bedrooms and clearing the clutters from the bedroom to the bathroom pathway.
And so not only is it in the home where the most common falls are happening, but what is the reason for the falls happening?
But usually, the most common mechanism of fall is slipping or tripping and falling over an object. It's basically what we call the ground wall fall. You're walking and your foot gets stuck in something and you fell down. That accounts for about 75% of our patients coming.
Wow, that's crazy that something so preventable, it seems, is such a, high factor in falls. What can people do to help prevent, from falling?
Yeah, fortunately, there are a lot of things we can do to hopefully avoid those. Probably one of the most important things is that frequent assessment, either self-assessment or assessment by a doctor or your primary care physician. Basically, our personal environment, our physical habits, and medications and health, and also personal limitations dictate how much we can do, and that's why frequent assessment of that through the year and hopefully once or twice a year by a physician will help preventing those falls, because as we age, our capabilities degrade and we have more limitations to move. And that's why we want to make sure we assess them frequently. Um, Another thing is basically, as I said, our environment. We need to look around us. The most common place is the bedroom. And that's why decluttering the bedroom, not having obstacles, even area rugs that they can have a folded edge, especially in a low light environment. Probably the more common time that it's happened at home is when a person gets up in the middle of the night, wants to go to the bathroom, and then trip and fall over something because it's dark. Lighting is really important. If A lot of times people don't want to disturb the person sleeping next to them and don't turn on the lights, and this happens. So there are basically motion sensor lights that you can put them on the low. We call them path lights. It just basically lights up your pathway to the bathroom, and you can actually have a better vision and keeping your muscles I would say fresh. Try to have a mild, safe activity every day. Muscle is one of those organs in the body that we say use it or lose it. If you don't use our muscles, we're going to lose our muscle mass at any age. And of course, as we mature, it's going to get more and more.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. And I actually had found at one time we had a LED lights that we put underneath the bed, and it was motion censored. So every time you got up to,
Correct.
in the middle of the night, yeah, I know I've experienced that myself, not wanting to, wake up my spouse, wake up my husband.
Right.
But let's see. Also, one of the well, personal limitations. As you get older, our brains, we still think, oh, I can still do that double cartwheel I did when I was back in high school, right? I
Yeah.
mean, is that a
Our,
big problem that people just think they can do more
Absolutely,
than they can do?
absolutely. Our body changes drastically over time. The inputs from the environment, our vision, our hearing, they're all on the decline as we age. The brain itself shrinks and the capabilities get lower. Our muscles get weaker, our joints get stiffer, bones get, I would say, less dense. And all of these affects our walking capabilities, our climbing capabilities, and even when we fall down, controlling the fall and breaking the fall becomes more and more difficult. That's why at a younger age, when we fall, we usually guard our head with arms, and usually we sustain minor injuries like wrist fracture as opposed to a head injury, as opposed to in the elder age, because you can't really protect your head. You hit your head to the ground, and that causes the head injury.
Yeah. And what about medications? Do those affect, or I'm sure they affect balance as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously, medications should be well controlled by people's doctor. That's why every time they go, they check their vital signs, especially people take blood pressure medications. They need to be adjusted properly so they don't get dizzy, they don't bring the blood pressure too low, or they don't be practically non-effective. Also, there is a big group of medications, we call them blood thinners. A lot of patients over the age of 65 on blood thinners because of various reasons. They're great medications. However, they will increase the chance of bleeding during a trauma. And that's why one of those medications that obviously, if you need them, it is necessary for your body to have them to prevent a lot of other complications. At the same time, these medications come with a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, definitely note to self and good information to have. And so one of the things that's interesting about as I was looking over the map that kind of gave the trauma falls that have happened in this past year, is interesting to see that in like the sixth city, 8% was Laguna Woods for coming to Mission Hospital with a trauma fall. So and Mission Viejo was actually the top city, which I found surprising. So it definitely interesting to see how many cities and how many places that it's happening across the board, and so we definitely need to be careful, and we need to look out
Right.
for like you were saying, the rugs and those things, and to look at your normal routine, the things that you're doing on an every day-to-day basis. What could potentially be unsafe about it? Kind of
Um,
reminds me of when we
yes,
were children and you had to walk on our hands and knees to baby proof the floor.
exactly. Exactly. As I said, I mean, it's a good habit of taking the same pathway to, let's say, from bedroom to bathroom. And first of all, make sure it's clear, make sure it's lit. And also, when you do that frequently, your muscle memory is better adaptable as opposed to taking a different pathway every time. Of course, not every time it's possible, or any location is possible. However, at least, again, if we make our homes the safest place, we can reduce the number, because, again, based on the statistics, it comes from our homes. And that's why it's important. In terms of the cities, of course, the distribution of traumas does depend on population. Mission Viejo being a bigger city than Laguna Woods, that contributes to it, and that's why the numbers might not really, might look a little bit surprising. At the same time, it goes with a lot of other factors.
That definitely makes sense. And anything else people should do to help so that they don't end up in the trauma department?
Yeah. As I said, I mean, as we age, our primary care physicians probably are the best resources to assess us regularly. And also, there is a lot of, thankfully, again, there's a lot of awareness about this. We have an annual National Fall Prevention Day, which is basically September 21st, which is the first day of fall. And there is a lot of community outreach, a lot of community events that happens in senior centers and community centers that people can go to them. There are a lot of good classes. I mean, a couple of them that I know, one of them is the Matter of Balance. They teach you a lot of techniques to get off the chair or get up in any position, do exercises to keep your muscle, legs, and back muscles and leg muscles strong. And also, there are even other classes. There are chair exercises. There are Tai Chi that can actually help you to hopefully keep your muscles strong.
Definitely important to continue moving, and as you said, keep your muscles strong. So thank you, doctor, for being here today. I really appreciate it. I hope the trauma center wasn't too busy this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Thanks, Bobby. And we're going to welcome the Shalom Club, Paula Kruger and Cindy Hauser. Shalom and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, you guys have a great event coming up. We're going to talk about that in a second. But first, a little bit about the Shalom Club in general. Tell us a little bit about the history of how it all started and what's behind it.
Okay, so several years ago, more than 4 years ago, our current co-president, Nate Kvetny, was the one who had an idea and founded this club. He wanted to be a social club. He wanted it, as we have a beautiful plaque.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a place where people can make friends. We have lots of different kinds of programming and very welcoming to everybody, all different faiths and cultures.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that the plaque, I know we've talked about this plaque before. You guys, it has meaning for you. What is the deeper meaning behind it? You guys really love the idea of this plaque being out in front of the clubhouse.
Well, what's great is the word shalom means hello, goodbye. Mm-hmm. And in other languages, salam, in Arabic is another way of saying hello. So, and then with the bird, it's about peace and welcoming people. So the word shalom has a lot of different meanings for us, and it's very welcoming, we thought.
Yeah, it's terrific. What are some of the past events that kind of define what you guys do?
Do you want to do past events?
Past events? Okay, one of the biggest, we had over 200 people in the clubhouse for Violins of Hope. And that was, to me, one of our most favorite, because it was violins that were found after the Holocaust, and they are now using those violins in orchestras all over the United States. So our programming was specifically a little history. We had a woman playing the violin who'll be coming up next, and a man who composes his own music and played the piano. That was one of our best. The other that we both felt, was when we had a woman speak about Hinduism, and then we went to the Hindu temple, which I think everyone should take a look at. It was beautiful. 55,000 people volunteered to create this beautiful, beautiful home for the Hindu culture.
And that brings up another point. This is not just for the Jewish community,
That's
right?
right.
You guys are not it's kind of agnostic in the sense that everybody's welcome to kind of come in of all faiths and enjoy learning a little bit about what the Jewish community is all about, but also you guys go out and learn a little about other communities of faith, right?
Yeah, we try to be inviting with different faiths, and we try to have interesting speakers so that it opens up the doors for other people. We do have a Jewish bent, but it's inviting everybody.
Sure.
We don't want to exclude anyone.
Well, speaking of inviting folks, Paula, what's the event we have coming up in September?
Okay. September the 3rd, Sunday, Clubhouse 1. Doors open at 2:30. We are going to have, as you have on your, the 3rd Jewish musical festival.
Okay.
We kicked off the Shalom Club once again post-pandemic in September of 2021 with a Jewish musical festival. And it was extremely successful, especially for first meeting when the club hadn't met for a couple of years at that point. So we did it again in September of 2022, and now we're doing it again in September of 2023. And as it says on the flyer, it's a celebration of a past fabulous year. And as Cindy just mentioned, we are a club with a Jewish bent. So we will be welcoming the Jewish New Year, which starts this year on September the 15th at sundown. Right. And the year is 5784. And an anecdotal thing that I would like to put in here is I got an email from a woman who has come to several of our events, who's of the Hindu faith, who sent me a personal email saying, I will definitely be there to celebrate, help celebrate the Jewish New Year. And if that doesn't say what the Shalom Club is all about, that's what it's about.
Now your memberships are hovers around 100, but you guys were telling me before we started that you have a mailing list of like 600 or so folks. So it really kind of speaks to how much people enjoy your events. They don't have to have an active membership to come out and enjoy that, right? Anybody can come and enjoy your events.
Yes. And something about this particular event, by the way, in addition to the fact that, well, many things. First of all, many things as always. Bethany Grace, who is an incredibly accomplished violinist, who did the violin performance at the Violins of Hope, which Cindy mentioned. Oh, wow. She's coming back. She is absolutely incredible. The woman is accomplished. She's played in the LA Philharmonic, in the San Diego Symphony Orchestra. She's done backup, played for performers as varied as everything from Pavarotti to James Taylor.
Okay, wow.
So and a lot in between. So she will be back, and I'd like to mention quite bluntly, this event, because it's our celebration, is not only welcoming everyone, but there's no charge.
Oh, terrific.
This is a free event.
Terrific. It sounds like it's going to be a great one. The violin, I got to tell you, I love violin. I love string music, and what you can do with, in terms of like the depths of emotions you can feel, and then the happy and joy you can bring too. It's such a versatile instrument.
Exactly.
And to mention also, she's very engaging. She doesn't just stand up there. She walks around with the violin.
Oh.
She makes people feel a part of it. And also, one thing that was left out, that she was a child prodigy with the violin.
Really?
Oh yeah, and she is absolutely amazing. I think people will really enjoy
Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace, Bethany. Exactly.
Now, the variety of music. What kind of music is going to be presented there? Obviously, traditional Jewish and Hebrew songs, and is there kind of variety? Is there a theme to it all?
Yes. Well, as it says on the flyer, the overall thing, generically, you would call it "quote unquote" Jewish music, but Jewish music includes, at least from our perspective, klezmer, which is particularly Jewish music, which she plays. There will be some Israeli music and some Yiddish music, and she covers all the bases, and that is all the bases as far as Jewish music is concerned. It's a variety program under the headline of Jewish music.
Cindy, what do you enjoy about the club? What keeps you coming back and being so involved as both of you are?
Well, one of the things is there are some people, excuse me, who find that it's a way of getting out for a Sunday. And like one woman I picked up and brought her to the club was able to see friends she hadn't seen in a long time. And that really makes us feel really good that people are exchanging phone numbers again, and they feel comfortable. And that makes us feel good that people keep coming back. And they give us some good feedback about the things that they've enjoyed.
Paula,
And-
same for you? Like
yeah.
that sense of community that you get from doing these things?
Well, quite bluntly, you hit the verbal nail on the head. Sometimes when I feel like it's a lot of hard work, and I feel at this point that we really are doing a community service at this point. It's beyond the music and the lectures and whatever. It is, we feel very strongly and deeply about that. It's a community service, getting people out of the house. And let's face it, Sunday afternoon at 2:30, 3 o'clock is like the perfect timing when people are like, okay, what am I going to do until dinner time on a Sunday?
Terrific. Well, I know what they're going to be doing Sunday, September 3rd. They're going to be going to your event
hope
over
so.
at
We
the
hope so.
clubhouse. So we hope so too. Shalom Club, Paula and Cindy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate
Thank you for
being here.
Thank you
having us.
for having us.
When we come back, we're going to preview Monday's movie. You're watching This Day.
Hi there, it's Bob Eubanks. You probably know me from the Newlywed Game, but what you may not know is I'm the only living person to have produced a Beatles show all 3 years they toured America. I've put together a great show called Backstage with the Beatles. I tell seldom or never before heard stories that lead up to music with a Beatle band on stage with me, Ticket to Ride. We're going to be here, Laguna Woods, in the Pack, September 23rd at 7 p.m.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. With standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon, a 260 horsepower turbocharged engine, advanced technology, and an extra-large touchscreen. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you.
Irvine Subaru. Buy online, just come in to sign. Get 2 years complimentary maintenance included on all new Subarus.
At Healing Hearts Emergency Animal Hospital, we are dedicated to emergency veterinary care through high-quality veterinary services and compassion. We offer state-of-the-art diagnostics at competitive pricing. Our doctors will see and care for dogs, cats, and most exotics. In case of emergency, rest assured Healing Hearts Emergency is here for you when your primary veterinarian is closed. Open nights, weekends, and all major holidays.
Welcome back. Let's talk Monday movie. It's Gun Monday. It must be movie time. We got a romantic comedy up for you this time. It's called The Private Lives of Pippa Lee. And after her much older husband forces her to move into a suburban retirement community, Pippa engages in a period of reflection and finds herself heading towards a quiet, nervous breakdown. That sounds like a fun romantic comedy to me. That's brought to us by Providence Mission Hospital, and it's going to be on at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Let's take another quick look outside before we leave you today. It's going to be hot, and please do not shoot the messenger on this one. It is going to be 93 today, 91 tomorrow, and then by the time we get into head towards the weekend, it's actually going to be a little bit below normal as the high pressure moves out and the cooler ocean temperatures hit us. So that's going to be a fun one. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For everybody here at the program, thanks for watching, and we hope to make this day a great one.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. Remember me? I'm the king of whoopee. And you're watching Village Television. But everybody does.